Another book review for you. Who Moved My Cheese by Spencer Johnson. He's written several books. They're all kind of small like this. Quick, easy reads, but they're good. This one is more of just a story, kind of a parable, if you will, about basically two mice and then two little people in a maze, and basically they spend their time, looking for cheese. And you can interpret cheese to mean whatever you want, right? So a lot of people immediately, go, well, that's money. Cheese is money, but cheese is whatever it is that you desire and you chase after, right? And so he goes through this story and kind of explains the personality of each of the characters in the story, and how they react differently when one day, well, first of all, they find cheese and they just make that like their new home. Basically, they move their house closer to the cheese. They go there every day, right? And then one day the cheese is gone, and the two mice go find new cheese immediately. Like, they just take off. And then the other two characters struggle with it. They start to feel entitled. They're like angry about who moved their cheese, all this stuff, right? They go through all these emotions of feeling like they got ripped off, and what are they going to do about it, and they're going to get to the bottom of it and everything. Finally, the one, his name is Ha, starts kind of laughing at himself and just going like, what are we doing? Like, let's just go look for some new cheese. There might be new cheese, right? Just around the corner, or who knows, but it's got to be better than sitting here being angry about not having cheese, right? Doing nothing to find more cheese. And it says that it was when he finally started laughing at himself and being able to like look at his past mistakes and kind of giggle at himself and go, what was I thinking? And then move on, right? It sort of broke down the fear of like, what if we never find more cheese? Or what if we leave and then cheese comes back here, and basically it was, a lot of it, what was holding him back was his fear and his kind of like one track mind thinking and whatever. And so if the cheese is your business, right, and your business does not change over time with the changing environment around you, right? The easy obvious example is like during the industrial age, before the internet existed, there was a ton of thriving businesses that suddenly became somewhat irrelevant or behind, right? Their product was more expensive, more difficult to get, less accessible to the public, etc. And they didn't change quick enough, and people who were running online enterprises were able to really take a big giant market share, and their business didn't change quickly enough to keep up with the times. So one of my favorite parts of this book was actually the discussion afterwards, because the story is really, really kind of fun, and you can interpret it in many different ways. But they had a section at the end of the book that was full of discussion and different angles that people took on the story and how it applies to them as far as their relationships. And maybe it's not that the relationship itself is bad or the partner is bad, but old ways of thinking about their relationship, right? And that maybe they needed to change in order to change the relationship, or what their goals were or what their fears were. Or one person suggested that sometimes we don't even know that we're afraid. Like sometimes we assume we are comfortable doing whatever is necessary, but we're not doing whatever is necessary because we're kind of blind to that fact or that fear or whatever it might be. So I thought it was a really interesting book. It's literally like 100 pages, and there's not very many words per page, so it's a quick read, and I think it's valuable. I mean, it's sold like over 1 million copies, I think is what I said. It's been used in big businesses, and it's so simple that a young person could totally understand and apply it to their lives. So anyway, I'll put a link if you want to buy it from Amazon, and that way I'll get a small commission. But kind of a cool little book, and go grab it if you're interested. It's good for seminars or business meetings and things to kind of get people thinking about ways to change, ways to grow, what things do we need to adapt to for our time. So anyway, thanks for watching.